Welcome everybody to Funeral Nation episode 81. I'm Ryan Thogmartin. That is Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison. Jeff, you're back in your office. I'm back in mine, but we're still worlds apart.
Yeah, you're back up in Ohio. I'm here in chilly Phoenix. We're going to be below 105 today, so it's a cold snap. Yeah,
winter coat out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we hit 120 last week. It was awesome.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, but you know what? Golf goes on. What are you going to do?
That's right.
Drink a lot of water.
There you go. Who's our title sponsor for this episode?
Man, you know what? We've got the Fast Funding Group, Jamie, and all the guys with his team. I'm working on. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit about AR today. But go ahead and roll that video.
Hi. My name is Lawrence Fish. I'm with Weed Corley Fish Funeral and Cremation Services in Austin, Texas. And today I wanted to say thanks to Jamie Meredith and C&J Financial for all the great work that they do for funeral homes around the country. For the funeral homes that are struggling with cash flow and the filing of insurance policies, I can't more highly recommend Jamie and his team at C&J Financial. The customer service is first class. They're prompt with following up on claims, and it has been a tremendous asset to us in helping with cash flow and also helping families at a time of need. So thank you for your team, Jamie, and those at C&J Financial, and we appreciate everything you do for funeral homes.
Awesome, Commander. What do we got coming up on this episode?
Well, to follow up from last week, we're going to change the show up a little bit and have a little commentary, a different interview, and today's WTF is going to be wonderful because it's a finger-licking good tribute.
And I'm pretty excited about today's interview. I think it's one of the most charismatic, big personalities we've ever had on the show.
That's possibly true, but I'll let everyone else determine that.
Well, the buzz.
So what's the big buzz, man?
Well, the buzz. We've got two big things. Primarily, Thacker Casket Company made another acquisition that expands their distribution. They are the largest family-owned casket company in the U.S. now, so that's pretty exciting. And it's interesting to see how quickly this is. I believe their second acquisition in the last 6 months. So it's interesting to see how quickly they're moving and acquiring market share and expanding distribution.
Yeah, that is interesting. And, kudos to them. Still hanging in with that family business. They're really good people. So happy for their team.
Yep. And then we've got one other bit of news that you've got, right?
Yeah, Allegheny Capital Corporation is investing in Wilbert Funeral Services. That's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. Wilbert was a little near and dear to my heart as I spent 8 years in the Wilbert organization, and it's interesting. It opens up the conversation to what's going to happen next. Why the cash infusion, and is the state of the business good? Are they expanding into something outside of burial vaults and the they kind of have a core group of products around the burial vaults and cremation. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go from here.
Yeah. And, of course, we remember our friends Lance and Pierce. They're up under that entire umbrella. I think it's a good thing. I mean, obviously, we don't know much. Maybe we can get someone on the show in the next couple of weeks and share with us some more of the news. That'd be a great interview.
Sure would. All right,
that's
Jeff.
Cool, man.
Well, who's going to be our guest? Oh, wait. I'll introduce the guest.
Okay.
So,
all
right, folks. We are going to interview Jeff, the Funeral Commander Harbison. And Jeff, you're going to talk to us about financial consulting side of the funeral business. And then we're going to throw some fun lightning round questions at you that may get a little interesting.
All right. I'm looking forward to that.
So, Jeff, first, to start this off, you and I have been friends now for a number of years. I'm privileged to be able to do this show with you, so it's an honor for me to be able to interview you. This is the first time that you have been interviewed on this show. We've had some other people from your company, and it was a privilege to be interviewed by you last week, and I'm happy to return the favor. So, First of all, what are some of the pressing financial issues that are affecting funeral homes?
That's interesting. There's several. One, I believe, is inadequate pricing, that we don't spend enough time charging for what we do, which also turns into we're not receiving or collecting what we're supposed to get paid. That's accounts receivable. And, for the most part, it's just not very good financial management of funeral homes. There's another little piece that becomes financial, and that's our employees, the human resources side. The unfortunate part of what we've got going on right now is that labor is the number one P&L cost. However, we don't pay enough attention to it, and it can be costly long term.
Absolutely. So you gave us a few examples there. Are there any more examples of what you're talking about as far as some of the pressing issues that funeral homes are facing?
Yeah, for instance, pricing. So you have to charge what you need. Most funeral homes, unfortunately, as my cohort Dan Assard always says, the pricing only comes once a year, and they base it on what otherwise is known as the dumb. Well, anyway, he uses a particular word, his competition. So from a pricing perspective, it's not about what you charge, it's what you keep. And unfortunately, funeral homes don't have a good grasp on their true overheads and how to make the calculation for the pricing of exactly what to charge. It's not based on what the casket company went up last year. It's what you need. We have a little saying here that your P&L, profit loss statement, plus your GPL, right, equals EBITDA. And the EBITDA is the report card and the financial health of your business. So the pricing side of the business, I think, is a really big deal, and a lot of folks are getting that wrong. Yeah. And so I've also seen from a cremation side that we've got funeral homes, and this is a dirty little secret, but bottom line is that burial families are subsidizing cremation families. We're not charging what we should for cremation. That's a nasty thing to say, but it's the truth. And of course, we have real big issues with accounts receivables. We got $330 million owed to funeral homes in the U.S. alone.
Gee whiz.
So think about that. Yeah. So basically, money's walking out the door, and they're not getting the collection to be paid for their goods and services, which means that creates a cash flow issue. Mm-hmm. Finally, accounting's not great. We've got folks that don't understand the difference between a rough box and an alternative container, giving very poor advice about funeral home management financially. And so when you wrap all these things together, it's really a difficult task. And then of managing a funeral home, the funeral directors and owners are wonderful caregivers, etc. But we can't be all things to all people. And so by having professional oversight, they're going to last long term. That's why you don't have do-it-yourself home funerals. You hire a funeral director.
That's right.
If you need financial management, just because you're a funeral director doesn't mean that you necessarily have that expertise in place.
So why is it important for a funeral home to have a financial manager?
Well, it's very important. And I guess we'll talk about that from the accounting side. Because again, accounting is more than just balancing the books and getting an end of the month statement. There are trends that come along based on the information of how your business is running. And so those trends, if they're not recognized along the way, they'll go bypassed. For instance, pricing, I go back to it again. If you've had a bad first and second quarter, we're just about finished with both. We're halfway through the year. You're not going to make up that business the rest of the year. So someone who's paying attention to your business financially should, and right now, be giving you advice on what to do in order to make sure that you finish the year strong. If not, you're just going along and getting reports. I mean, everybody gets P&Ls. I don't know how long it takes and financial reports per month. Well, what are you doing with that information? Yeah. If you're not getting it deciphered, it's really just useless. All you're doing is having someone take care of your taxes and pay your bills. Yep. So it's sort of like you with a social media manager. hey, we can post obituaries all day, but we're really not getting the message right.
Absolutely not. So, doesn't the Foresight Companies offer a financial boot camp?
Yes, sir. We have one coming up in August. I think you're going to show a little blip here on it. And that's where you can come out here to lovely Phoenix. It's a little cooler by then. I think we'll be in the 95 to 105 range. That's chilly here. And we're going to go through and provide you all the basics in depth of how to look at your business differently and how to be profitable. Bottom line is we're in this business for profit. So I'd invite you to take a look at the video and the meme and come on out or give me a call. Let's chat about you coming out to boot camp here.
All right, Mr. Commander, you're in the hot seat today. So I'm going to ask you the lightning round questions. Looked at your life a little bit, pulled out bits and pieces of what you love, and I'm going to ask you some questions. So, number one, Arizona or Virginia?
Arizona.
Cigar or a drink?
Yes. I'll take both. Yeah, I guess I would have a cigar over a drink, but a cigar and a glass of dark rum at the same time is sublime.
Yeah, they go together. Okay. All right. Celebrity crush?
If she's still alive, Bernadette Peters.
I'm drawing a blank, but all right.
No doubt. She could be your great-grandmother. But anyway.
Okay. Black hair or gray hair?
I'm going to say yes, both. See, I have this black hair and I've got this gray hair. I actually put the white in to look mature.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, cute. So I'm going to say I'll take the black, but what am I going to do?
A little bit of salt and pepper.
I am not going to color it, I'll tell you that.
Okay. All right. You get that. You probably get it colored when you get your mani-pedi done. So
yeah.
All right.
Good.
The perfect fantasy round of golf date. Who would it be?
Ryan Thogmartin.
Oh, come on. That's too easy.
No, man. How much fun. We played a couple times. How much fun is that?
We had a blast. I mean, you get us together for 4 hours with no other distractions.
No, man. It's fabulous. In fact, I got to get you down here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen. I think we need to have some sort of I got something in mind. We're going to make that happen.
We'll do an episode of Funeral Nation while we play golf somehow.
That's it. And you know what? We're going to have Josh come along. A video would just make it kind of a few-day show here.
Be awesome. Well, sir,
all right.
I hope that wasn't too tough. Thank you again for the privilege to be able to interview you. You're the perfect partner for a show like this. We're really changing the profession.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right. This interview segment was brought to us by Sitch Caskets. Speaking about changing the profession, they're really disrupting the way that caskets are distributed in the U.S. Let's roll that promo.
Funeral Nation is sponsored by Sitch Casket. Finally, funeral homes don't have to wait to choose between premium quality and higher margins. Is it a Sitch Casket or one of the top U.S. brands? Only your accountant can tell the difference. Visit Sitch Casket or contact your Sitch distributor.
All right, Commander, now we move into the WTF. You alluded to this earlier as some finger-licking good tribute, but this is where we take a look at the profession, we find something humorous, and we kind of chat about it and laugh about it, but it makes you say, what the funeral? And I would imagine that if I am a funeral director that receives this tribute from the local florist or restaurant or a family member brings this in, I'm definitely going to say, what the funeral?
I am blown away. However, I am hungry because I am a fried chicken fan, not necessarily KFC. But just think about this. It's finger looking good. I mean, right to the end. I saw this and I was like, what the funeral? It's not even, I don't like to call people rednecks. I call them Appalachian Americans, right? But this one is the bomb. This is the WTF. If this showed up at a funeral home with somebody, there's got to be a great story behind it. So it's kind of funny.
Do you think that if this shows up at the funeral home, that when the family gets there, the chicken is still on the stick?
I don't know. Is it still good? What about the other chicken that was in the buckets? What I'm thinking.
Yeah, who got that?
Where's that stuff? I want the 2 wings that came out of it.
Yeah.
and a thigh.
You would ask, where's the other chicken? You would
Yeah.
ask. All right. Well, excellent. This wraps up episode 81. Next week, we'll be shooting 82. We want to give the peeps a little sneak peek of what's coming up, or we're going to keep it under wraps?
Yeah, we've got a new product line that I believe is coming on board with us, and we hope to have them on board. They're from overseas, so this will be a great interview. But in any event, we're going to be back on our normal schedule with the WTF, an interview, and also a spotlight on a funeral director.
Joe, I want to point out one thing that's pretty awesome about this show is our global reach. This is not just a show that's in North America, US and Canada. Like, we're reaching almost 78 different countries are watching this show on a weekly basis. So having a guest on from overseas and partnering with us just shows the power of the internet, the need for this type of content, and really speaks volumes about the U.S. market in general and how this is kind of where every company wants to be.
Yeah, there's nothing like it out here in the funeral business. It's effing great.
It's effing great. Okay, on that note, until next time, have a great effing week.
Out here.